I've made it through. At this point, since I can get a blade all the way through, people who install and remove automotive windshields have a tool that you could slip in there and it just cuts all the way around real nice. Okay, we have it loose now. It just took about 20 minutes to keep going around. Now, I don't know how, see what happened down here at the bottom is the water just kept funneling in, and now it's starting to rot away the sill, and there's streaks down here on the wall where it would rain real hard and water would get in the building envelope. But we're gonna have to do some work out there, so I'm gonna set this aside and probably need to put it back in, or I will need to put it back in temporarily. So, take off this piece right here and then scrape everything down and fill using Bondo Auto Buddy. This will probably have to come out here as well. Well, here's a nice surprise. It's right to this. I thought this was an extra piece of like cove molding attached, but it turns out it's part of this trim. And the window that I ordered is about a 1/16 of an inch wider than this, so I'm going to have to maybe plane that back after I remove this. Well, there's 25 right there, and that goes down. I like the idea that it sits on, this thing is the sill and it goes all the way through. I didn't know that. So I like the idea that it would sit on the sill, but it's not going to make any sense to put this thing, I don't think, over this, because first, I think it's too narrow anyway. Yeah, see. So, we're going to have to remove that stuff around the edges. This is the ProVia window that goes in there. I'm a distributor for ProVia, so come and help me install these things or sell them for me. I have a 10,000 square foot warehouse, but I'm doing this because I like it. So this is what, 27, I hate these things, a little more than a quarter, and by 25, 27 and a quarter by 25. So let's go see what we have here. I scraped all the large particles of paint off just so it wouldn't keep falling on me, and now I'm going to take this tool, which was up here and I didn't get a chance to show you, and it's a cat's paw, what they call a cat's paw on the end, and it has this wide surface so it doesn't tend to wreck things, mark them when you take them off. It spreads out. So I'm going to take this piece off all the way around. I use my magnetic holder, which will stick to metal, obviously, but there's no attraction to this. This is copper. The gutters are copper. This metalwork here is copper. It's kind of hard to tell because it's been painted, so you can see the copper over on that one. So that's useful to know. Even if I don't paint it, scrape it and paint it, I can just leave it and let that paint flake off and it'll be good. Here's my collection of tools. I have a carbide scraper here, and this one I think is made by Ace. It's got it at Menards. Here's a set of scrapers that makes it really convenient if there's round or curved things. It's kind of hard to scrape curved things with a straight scraper. That's like a beehive tool, and that's what I started out painting. I just used that to scrape. And then there's like a 10-in-1 tool. It's great for opening paint cans too. Need a pair of vice grips to pull nails that are sticking out. A utility knife, a little wire brush. I use these gardener's gloves. They're 100% leather, pig skin, and you can feel really well with these. They fit hard and upon like a glove. And here is a paint opener made in the USA, and PPG is the one that has that. I don't know, I just like that. And I have this little bucket and some kind of hammer there, and there's this magnetic thing there, and I can use this to hang it on my ladder. And I have another opener on there, and I'll throw all these tools in this bucket and take it up there with me and prepare. Oh, so this is my caulk gun. I gotta get the best caulk gun you can, and I use Top Gun 400. This is a Porter paint thing, acrylic urethane. This color happens to be stone. They have a clear, and it has Kevlar in it. It's a lifetime warranty, but it fingers or feathers really well with your finger, but it takes 4 hours and sometimes longer if you have a really big fill. And you shouldn't paint over it if you can help it before it really dries. Okay, so now we're going to go up here and deal with this window with these tools. This is my Bondo bucket. I keep buckets for various things, and this way I can just throw it in the back of a pickup truck and put a lid on it and not have to worry about rain. So in my Bondo bucket, of course, is Bondo and a collection of hardeners. You only need one kind, and a Surefire plane and some plastic trowels and something to mix the Bondo up with. On this old hinge here, I have the Bondo mixed up, and I'm going to put it over that where they notched out for the hinge. This Bondo, of course, won't shrink, so where you leave it is how it's going to stay. There will go through a phase where it's sort of soap-like consistency, and you could just shape it very easily, but after that it's going to be some elbow work to smooth it, some serious sanding. Now this was in a previous video, a part of this piece here that was sticking out, and it turned out really well the way this is going to work out, because I have such a broad area to work to with the window, rather than try to stick it just between some narrow places like this. And then of course I guess you could fill it with foam-fill outside, or you would have to take the trim off and remove the wood. And anyway, this turned out to be, well, I thought it was a mistake, the best way to deal with it. I used this Top Gun 400, and I caulked all around here last night. Actually, it was the night before last. And then I used this handy dandy little scraper. They aren't carbide, but they're high-speed steel, and it's shaped to fit in the grooves, making it really quick. In fact, I didn't even put the other this curved blade in it. I just held it by hand and scraped it. And I did use my carbide scraper on all the flat parts. And now comes this is what I'm using, multi-surface stain blocking primer for surfaces requiring advanced adhesion, stain blocking, and sealing. And it's using wood, masonry, metal, drywall, and it is an acrylic, and I presume that they did this sufficient research that it's compatible, and it also dries really fast. So I just put on the Bondo, and that was 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. And now I'll put this primer on, and within 20-30 minutes I'll be able to put the first finish coat. Okay, I'm ready to put on the first top coat. Normally I would like to do this with a storm window already in, but you'll see in a minute that there's very little way to get your head through that thing and work on the outside, but I'm going to have to. So I'm using this Behr Marquee. Exceptional resistance to dirt and fading. This says exterior flat, but the flat isn't, I don't think it's all that flat. And somewhere, is that it? It says lifetime warranty. And then if you read the fine print on the back, it says, well, 2 coats are going to perform better than 1. So I'm using 2 coats and expecting 2 lifetime warranties. Now here's a cool little feature that's new to me. Like, they give you this little plastic funnel thing, and you use it to turn the lid off. Now these lids are plastic, so when you store your paint, I guess it's not going to rust. And you can clean, when the paint kind of dries on it, you can clean the paint off the edges. So I guess this is the deal. I've never done it, but I wanted to bring this up and show and tell. And I never paint out, did I say that? I never paint out of a can, because if I knock this over, it's going to be a really big mess. But I wanted to get a few extra minutes on my YouTube here. And I have this little skinny paintbrush, which is a throwaway paintbrush. So speaking of paintbrushes, I like using this Trilon, especially because it's orange. Well, and this is a Home Depot purchase, and I do have a couple of Coronas, which are handmade paint brushes that they sell at Porter Paints, and that gives me bragging rights that, you know, well, I use the best, and obviously I do the best work. So, but I find myself going to this Trilon frequently, and I think it's only $10, so you know, after a while, it doesn't matter. I mean, it costs more for me to clean the thing than if I kept throwing it out, but that's not logical. All right, so here we go. We're going to paint this flat brown color. Okay, we're done with the 2 lifetime coats of this wonderful paint. And what I'm noticing as I paint and see where these screws are, that is how wide the window actually comes, just a little bit beyond this. But if you look down here, that means the window is going to be overhanging all this woodwork. And at first I thought, well, that's going to be a problem, but then I thought, nah, there's 2 lifetime warranties of 2 lifetime coats of paint on top of a bonding primer. I mean, how long is it going to take for that to be a problem? And it's not likely the wind's going to blow up underneath there enough to rot through 2 lifetime warranty coats of paint. Anyway, I'll stick my head out and see. But do you ever think about that lifetime? I mean, whose lifetime? How do they measure that? I mean, did somebody come back from the dead and say, yep, it lasted beyond my lifetime, so now we can warranty it? How many lifetimes of their research department did they have to go through? Oh, maybe they mean the lifetime of a house. You think this thing's been here for over 100 years? And do they think it's gonna outlast its lifetime? Well, I guess it's good to have confidence in your product and communicate it, but you get the idea. Okay, the first coat is on. And you probably, first top coat, you probably noticed that there were some places that I missed with the bonding primer. And you might say, well, what about that? And I would say, well, look at this wonderful Bear Marquee. It is and primer. Oh my God. So, you know, if you miss some spots, it's covered. And you say, well, why don't you just forget about the primer? And I would say, because it's my job and I want to. And I just feel better about it. Using a bonding primer goes back to the old days. And there being 3 coats on there means, oh look, see, I even missed some with the first coat. But I still have a lifetime coat left to put on it. And I was really impressed with the Porter Paints bonding primer, but now they have another name for it. And I was reading the label on this stuff that I showed you earlier, and it seems to be the same stuff, and it's made by Porter, so probably is. Okay, we've got this primed. Now, I wasn't going to put primer on the metal, but out here where the sill, the metal sill meets the wood, is a bead of caulk, and if water goes in there, if that's failure, then water's coming in and building, and so I want to take extra precautions for that. Now you'll notice that we aren't approaching this like we're building a piano, right? We're here on the 3rd floor in a cedar closet, and the homeowner has not expressed the desire to make everything look like we're building furniture. So I'm being appropriate to that. I can see there's a couple places I can put a little caulk. There's a hole there and right there. But on this windowsill, the window's going to be coming back here. So I'm going to do something with that when I know where the window comes to. So in a few minutes, we'll be putting the first top coat on. Okay, the whole thing is in. I need to maybe ask the customer if something needs to be done with the windowsill. Alright, you can see I use clear caulk. It's sort of hard to see in there with the glare. That's clear caulk. We'll check it out. I did not do the bottom because see all this white residue water had been leaking and coming in from the way that homemade window was constructed. There's a little clear caulk there, and we'll check that out and come back and operate the window, make sure everything is copacetic, but it seems so. Okay. Alright, when I put this little thing cover over that screw, you can see the window hits it and it doesn't go down all the way. So I'm going to leave it off and call the factory and inquire about that. Now up here, there's really no need I mean, I could put that piece, one of those pieces in there. Normally what goes in there is this piece. But you can see if I put that piece in there, then this window will only go up this far, and then therefore it would only open this far. And so I want it to go up to the top and get a little extra space there. And you know, when it does that, of course, this is a little wobbly at the top because this thing keys into the track. But that's not going to be, it's fine when it gets down here. And I would prefer to have this open this far instead of like this far. And this is such a tiny window, but it was economical, and a casement would have been a much bigger deal. So we went with the economy. You can see a screw in the screw hole, and I didn't even pull it up against whatever metal thing is in there. And then this little button that is a perfect match in the color. By the way, these windows come in like 23 different colors, which is a little more flexible than most places. You can get at most places. So I picked this, the customer picked this kind of tannish color. All right, we're gonna see if we can get screws. These are covers, and you can use them to cover up this hole, which is where you are to attach the window with a screw that they supply into the framing, but you have to be very careful not to put any tension on it. And I have this fit so tight, it doesn't make sense to put foam in there. And of course you would use a non-expanding kind. And so I think I'm just going to caulk both sides and just barely touch this frame with the screw. And there's also a place, let me see if I can get it. See that? You can see that. Yeah, see, there's a place there. And they have covers for that. Yeah, they have a cover for that. But that inhibits the movement of the window is what I think I determined. No, they have little covers for that. So maybe this one's not covered. It's just the one that's at the top, because I only have these two left for each side. All right, now the ProVia window is in place. Now, I did fit it in here before I even started painting it like 12 times at least, so I would know how much material to move. So that unlocks the window, goes up, it goes down, that's good. Unlock that and unlock that. Now you can clean this side, but I think it's best to unlock it a little bit further up. So when you twist this thing, the mechanism, there's a break in here, and now you can't move this anymore. So you can now pull down the top. Now this is all the further. There's a thing that blocks it right here, which you could remove. I removed some spacer, decorative, you know, makes it look a lot even things in here. But it restricts, it's such a small window, it restricts the movement of this, just like this movement here and here is restricted. But you can also click here and here and pull this open, but you have to, you can't twist that when it's down towards the end. Now this screen is a half screen, and I don't know how you could possibly get it out. I've played with it while it was on the ground, but it's in there. And so you can clean this side of the window, put it back up, slides nice and easy, put this back up, and slides nice and easy. to make sure this is all the way up and this is down, and then it will lock on. And now what I need to do is figure out how to get my head outside the window so I can caulk it. I did it a little bit, but it's going to be a very tight space.